Welcome everyone. Welcome to this afternoon yin practice. For today's practice, you're going to need just a folded up blanket to start. We'll use it rolled up at some point in our practice. If you don't have a blanket, fold up a towel, donc une couverture, soit pliée ou une serviette de bain pliée. Something that you can sit on to elevate your pelvis. Remember, we're trying to kind of lift everything up so it can be straight and avoid us working with a rounded or an arched spine. And find a comfortable seat. We'll start in a seated meditation. Donc, assis soit sur votre couverture, sur votre serviette. Vous pouvez vous asseoir les jambes croisées ou bien sur les talons. Quelque chose que vous pouvez tenir pour quelques minutes. On va commencer ici. So, at any point you want to kind of change your meditation position, that's never a mistake. It takes a while to find the perfect one. So shuffle around, and I'll meet you seated. For your hands, up to you. If you feel like you need to ground today, feeling way up there in your head kind of thing, palms can face down onto your thighs, helping you find that grounding sensation. If you feel like you need to receive some energy, tournez les palmes vers le ciel pour recevoir si vous sentez un petit peu plus fatigué ou sans énergie. Fermez les yeux. And let's begin. And with your eyes closed, start by bringing your awareness, your mind into your lower body. From the hips down. Start with your hips and bring your mind towards that area of your body and let them go. Soften. Soften your thighs. Ramenez même votre conscience au niveau des chevilles, des pieds, même les orteils relâchés. From this nice, solid, relaxed base, grow your spine tall as if a string was pulling the crown of your head up towards the sky, coming out of any kind of slouching or rounding. Vous pouvez ramener le menton légèrement vers le cœur pour allonger l'arrière du cou. And portez votre attention à la respiration. Come to focus on your breath now without changing it. Just notice your breath. Take these few first moments to land, to melt in this position, and to describe your breath to yourself. If it's slow or fast. Peut-être que votre souffle est un peu plus profond ou non. Vous le remarquez plus au niveau du ventre ou bien de la poitrine. Prenez quelques instants ici pour tout simplement observer, sans rien changer. And we begin our practice by taking a little bit of time to center ourselves, to be able to arrive and land. So when we are in our 3 or 5 minutes hold, our mind is a little bit more trained to stay right here, right now. Now simply begin to bring your awareness to a specific spot on your face. Bring your mind's eye, your awareness, your consciousness right underneath your nostrils and above your upper lip. This area where the air flows in and out. And definitely thoughts, ideas, other things will come and disrupt, your concentration. That's okay. Bringing it back. Toute votre attention en dessous des narines, par-dessus les lèvres. Remarquez l'air qui rentre puis qui sort. This is what we call apanasa meditation, a meditation that allows us to almost come into a nirvana-like state. And we're so focused on this one little spot, the bliss, the quietness of the mind. That whole relaxing state happens on its own. Let me give you a few moments here in silence. Watch your breath in and out of the nose, under the nostrils, above your upper lips. doigts ou les orteils sont crispés. Si vous avez la langue collée au palais, relaxez les parties de votre corps, puis revenez à votre souffle. Today's practice is all about elongating our connective tissues, finding some length, finding some space in our bodies in different areas. We'll move it in all sorts of directions like we usually do. But today's focus will truly be to kind of hold and bask in that moment where you feel a nice sensation, but you're not looking for more. You're comfortable right where you are. C'est une belle pratique. Ramenez vos mains vers le corps. Bring your hands into Anjali Mudra. Press the base of your palms together. Press your fingertips together. Puis soulevez le cœur vers les pouces. Prenez une longue inspiration par le nez. Relâchez par la bouche. Let's open up our practice to the sound of one Om. Join me if you wish. Inhale for Om. Have a wonderful practice, and may you find peace and space in your body with this. Go ahead and open up your eyes nice and slow. In your own time, prenez tout le temps que vous voulez. I'll meet you in a table, position de la table. Les mains en dessous des épaules, les genoux en dessous des hanches. If it's more comfortable, use your blanket or padding for your knees. Could be nice. Extra comfort today, just to give our body that. Sometimes we could feel tight from doing a lot of workouts, walking around or sitting all day. Move in however way you wish that you want to move right now. You can sway left to right. You can do some hip circles. Peut-être vous arquez, vous arrondissez le dos sans trop y penser. Bougez comme vous voulez. Commencez à ouvrir votre pratique. And slowly sway yourself into stillness. Hands press into the ground, all 5 fingertips firmly rooted, base of the palms. Same thing with your knees and tops of your feet. A little bit of belly action here to feel that nice tall spine. And just in this one position, can you send your bum a little bit towards the back and the crown of the head forward? Press the hands down into the mat, feel that nice solid straight spine. On your next inhale, start to dip your belly down. Open up the shoulders, look up for a cow spine. Nice slow exhale as you round the belly, navel to spine, round your shoulders, and drop your head. On refait ça encore tout doucement. Inspirez, bougez comme vous respirez. Cambrez le bas du dos et la poitrine, regardez vers le haut. Une longue expiration, pressez dans les mains pour arrondir le bas du dos, les épaules, puis relâchez la tête. Bring yourself back into a neutral spine and start with our most sensitive areas, our feet and our ankles. Go ahead and curl your toes for a toe stretch. If you're used to toe stretch and you know that having the feet kind of far apart like this doesn't really make a big sensation, could be the case for some of us. Bring your ankles closer to one another. To sit onto your heels and make sure that all your toes are curled. Grab onto your baby toe and curl it into the ground. It's nice for some padding if you have that blanket. And go ahead and do a little bit of a moonwalk. So you shuffle back and you're really bringing all of your weight onto your ankles. Palms down here. Let's feel a little bit grounded. Grow your spine tall. And just come back to your breath. Today I won't let you focus on really long inhales or exhales, just following your breath like we did at the beginning of class in the Apana meditation, Apanasana, sorry. underneath your nostrils, above your lips, just for a minute. Follow that breath. Nothing lasts forever. That sensation will stop at some point. If it's too much, give yourself a break. Come back. Mouvements comme ça qu'on fait, les sensations peuvent être très fortes. Fait qu'à l'aide de notre concentration, de notre respiration, au lieu de penser à nos pieds, au lieu de penser à nos genoux, on pense au souffle. Même si c'est difficile, on commence à atténuer l'anxiété, on commence à calmer le système nerveux comme ça. About 15 more seconds. Can you relax your jaw, relax your face? Take about 2 more breaths. And let's slowly come out of this. Crawl forward, come back into a tabletop. Here's an option for you. You can simply let your feet down, or if it feels good, tap your feet out. Don't think too much about it. Do whatever feels right. Give yourself a little second here to feel what's going on in your ankles, tops of your feet, maybe your toes. We'll give our ankles now a bit of a stretch. Come to sit onto your heels, feet flat on the ground, so like you're in Seiza. All right, and we're gonna be leaning back. So bring both hands on either side of your hips, maybe fingertips face forward or back, whatever's comfortable for you. Begin to lean back and start to lift your knees up just a tiny bit. Feel how that feels in the front of your feet, in the ankles. Coming back to those nice slow breaths. If you're used to it, if you're okay, you can come down on your elbows. Try to keep that lower spine nice and long, no arching or rounding. Watching the inhales and the exhales. Revenez en dessous de la narine, par-dessus les lèvres. Tout simplement suivez le souffle. Halfway there. Sometimes when we think of giving our body a nice stretch or opening up sensitive areas in their bodies, we always go to our hips. They hold a lot of tightness. It's always good to start with the feet and the ankles. Hold all the weight of your body up. These are 2 really simple stretches you can do at home, anytime you want, to give your feet some relief in your whole body. If you're all the way down, go ahead and come up onto your hands. Bring your knees back down onto the ground or your blanket. Crawl forward, bring yourself back into your tabletop. Maybe you tap the feet, maybe you don't. Go ahead and faites quelques cycles du dos de la vache et du chat. Go ahead for some rounds of cat and cow. Just breathing as you move. It could be slow, it could be fast. Meet me with a neutral spine. And you're gonna step your right foot on the outside of your hands and into the dragon. So in this position, you're gonna wanna still feel a nice stretch in the front of your left hip. And if that's not the case, curl your back toes, lift the knee up, and then wiggle your leg back so you really come down on the top of your knee, beginning of your thigh, and let that left hip sink down. Today's dragon won't be a traditional one. We're gonna do winged dragon. That means you're gonna let your right knee open up towards the right. Maybe even you come out into the outside of your right foot. Take a few breaths sitting up nice and tall here. Let that right hip relax. Let that left hip come down. Find some comfort in your position. Always good to feel a stretch, a sensation, but you want to be comfortable too. It's easy to breathe. And then from here, we'll do about a 3-minute hold. If you want, you can come down onto your elbows. Coming down onto your elbows is a bit too much and you have some blocks and books at home. Maybe you bring your elbows on those blocks and those books. Give yourself some height. And begin with simply letting your body settle into this pose, soften. Not just your body, let that happen in your muscles, and then let that happen in your bones. Once that body feels good, bring your awareness into your breath. And simply noticing, kind of like when you meditate, notice your breath. Your breath tells you a lot about yourself. If it's really kind of quick and a little bit shallow, maybe the body is too deep in the pose. Flowy and easy, but there's no sensation there. Maybe you could go a little bit deeper. Part of the pose, bring your awareness now to sensation. Start to feel your body, feeling the difference between intense sensation and pain. Or maybe certain spots of your body are being stretched that you didn't expect. All the way down onto your elbows. Take a little bit of time and slowly bring yourself back up onto your hands. There's no rush. And once you're back onto your hands, let's take a little bit of time here. Let those hips sink a little bit lower. Slowly transition for just a brief half Hanuman. Stretch the right thigh. So you're going to bring your right foot back onto the ground. Bring your knee to face forward. Lean back as you straighten your right leg. Walk your hands back. Come up onto your right heel. Flex the toes. Hands on the inside of your right leg. See, the more you flex your toes and press your right heel forward, you're going to feel that deeper sensation in the back of the right thigh. Just a few moments here, waking that up. And bring that right foot down, come back into your tabletop. Option to kind of do some hip rolls, maybe a down dog. Could feel really nice between these poses. Up to you, however you want to do. And feel that nice difference between your right and left leg. Should be a little bit obvious. bring yourself back down onto your knees. And we'll repeat into the other side. Cette fois-ci, vous allez prendre un pas vers l'avant avec votre pied gauche à l'extérieur de vos deux mains. La même chose ici, si vous sentez que vous n'avez pas assez d'étirement dans le devant de la hanche gauche, retroussez les orteils du pied arrière, soulevez la jambe pour la reculer un tout petit peu, puis redescendez de sorte que vous êtes au début du genou à la fin de la cuisse. Pour ce dragon-là, vous allez laisser le genou gauche tomber vers la gauche, peut-être même rouler sur l'extérieur du pied gauche. Faites attention à vos chevilles. Prenez quelques instants au début de la pause ici pour laisser les hanches tomber vers le sol. Un petit peu différent qu'un low lunge, une fente au sol dans le yoga traditionnel. D'habitude, on essaie de soulever les hanches. Dans un dragon, dans le yin, laissez les hanches tomber vers le sol ici. Petite activation au niveau du nombril. Restez ici si vous êtes confortable ou bien descendez sur les avant-bras. Ça se peut que ça soit pareil ou différent d'un côté à l'autre. Une petite chose à dire. Chacune des pauses, de laisser le corps atterrir. Remarquez les faiblesses d'un côté à l'autre. Puis commencez à porter un peu plus d'attention sur votre souffle, sur la respiration, sans trop la changer, juste remarquer comment vous respirez. Comme quand on médite, puis on ramène constamment l'attention sur notre respiration pour nous aider à éviter à penser à autre chose, à occuper l'esprit. On essaie de faire la même chose dans notre pratique de yin, de tout simplement observer les sensations de notre corps. Prenez un petit moment ici et remarquez votre corps. La hanche droite, la hanche gauche, les chevilles, la colonne. Si vous êtes sur les avant-bras, remontez tranquillement sur les mains. Laissez les hanches encore plus relâchées. On se ramène à la même transition. Ramenez tout le pied gauche au sol. Le genou en direction vers l'avant de votre tapis. Reculez vers l'arrière. Ramenez la hanche gauche par-dessus le genou gauche. Vous allongez, vous allongez la jambe gauche. Fléchissez les orteils. Maybe your nose is closer to the ground on this one. Maybe you're way up high. All you're looking to is really press that left foot forward so you get that nice long line in the back of your left leg. Puis ramenez le pied gauche au sol, ramenez-vous dans votre table. Option de rester dans la table, faire des mouvements. or down dog, whatever you feel. Every transition in yin is so unique when you come out of a pose, and sometimes your body feels like doing one thing instead of the other. No, I might guide something. If your body feels good where it is, or if you feel like doing something else, go for it. Right, let's come down onto our knees and find our way into a seat, sitting on our little pad here that we made. So if you're lucky to be practicing close to a mirror, sitting on the pad, you'll often see if your lower spine is rounding or if it's straight. Let's just do a few cat-cow with the hands on the hips, kind of arching and rounding your spine until you find a nice, tall, elongated lower spine, less rounding. And it's almost like a little space between cow and cat. Let that tailbone come down, lift up. I'll meet you in a half butterfly. So the left leg is going to be long. Right foot inside of the left thigh. And the idea with sitting on a prop is that left knee can come closer to the ground. If it's not the case, if you're right here, that's perfect. It's all good. You can grab some pillows, you can grab some blocks, and let that right knee rest on something. Start with flexing those left toes, but relaxing your left knee. Then times we'll kind of keep that knee in hyperextension, so soften it. Take a few moments. Let's do it with breath. We're going to inhale and sit up nice and tall. And exhale, start to crawl forward. And move your spine with breath. Inhaling to come tall. Exhaling, fold forward. Kind of undulate your spine like that with your breath. Let's do a few rounds like that. Maybe you move right to left. Extending on the inhale, folding on the exhale. And then that's kind of like a little cue for you to find your way into comfort in this pose, bringing your physical body to a place where it feels just right. Left knee soft, right toe soft. And that bum really sitting on your blanket or on your prop. Heart reaches forward. As part of today's practice, it's a beautiful kind of melody or syncing of meditation with the yin, and I'll continuously kind of guide you through this 3-step process that I like to do in yin, bringing the body into the pose, and bringing the breath in, and then finally the mind to feel those sensations. Once you're comfy, bring it to your breath. For today, just watch the breath underneath your nostrils, above the lips. Tongue and jaw. If you're doing good following your breath, keep doing that. Or maybe you start to notice the sensations in different areas of your body. Maybe that your right hip is down and your left hip is lifting a bit. Bring them both down. Find an equal pelvis. Press the finger down and inhale. Just make your spine nice and long. Maybe look up. And when you exhale, maybe you spider crawl a bit further or you go down a little bit more. Very slowly, with the help of your hands pressing into the ground and less work on your spine, go ahead and walk yourself back up to upright. No rush. You can let your head come up last. And when you're up, you can simply cross your left leg in front of your right, so you're in Sukhasana, easy pose. Again, if you need to cat-cow to find your long spine, go for it. And from here, we're going to do a simple lateral stretch. So you can walk your left hand over onto your left side. And lift your right arm up above your head. Take an inhale. And then exhale, you can bend over towards the left. Stretch your right side. Maybe your hand is on the ground, maybe your elbow's on the ground. And if that's not the case, bring the ground up. Grab some blocks, some books. Try to keep both sides of your bum onto the blanket. Maybe make your right side a little bit heavier. If your arm's getting a little tired, make it yin style. Bend the elbow, hook it around your head. And take some deep breaths here. Make some space in the side of your body. Often gets crunched up. The way we sleep, the way we sit. Into all that space. And by pressing your left hand down onto the ground, wherever it is, come back up on an inhale or whenever you're ready. And take a moment, maybe a breath or two here, sitting nice and neutral. Let's switch it up on the other side. Donc cette fois-ci, vous allez allonger la jambe droite. Déplier le pied gauche à l'intérieur de la cuisse droite. Ajuster au besoin. Si vous vous asseyez plus vers le bout de votre couverture ou de votre serviette pliée, ça va vous aider à trouver un petit peu plus d'auteur au niveau du bassin. Laissez le genou tomber vers le sol. Un petit pli ou un relâchement du genou droit. Les orteils du pied droit fléchis, puis commencez avec un dos bien long. Prenez une longue inspiration. Allongez la colonne. Expirez, plongez. Commencez à onduler la colonne comme ça pendant que vous respirez. Retrouvez de la hauteur en inspirant. Plongez quand vous expirez. Puis vous pouvez aller vers le centre ou peut-être un peu plus vers la droite, vers la gauche. On se retrouve au centre, mais explorez. Prenez un petit peu de temps ici au début de la pause pour explorer.
quelques respirations, venez vous retrouver dans une pause que vous allez garder pour les prochaines minutes. Envoyez les fessiers vers la couverture. Ça se peut qu'en faisant ça, ça vous redresse un tout petit peu. C'est correct, mais l'idée, c'est d'avoir le bassin ancré. Soulevé. Votre corps, les muscles, les os ont trouvé le confort dans la pause. Revenez à votre souffle. Suivez l'inspiration puis l'expiration. Au niveau des narines, en dessous des narines, par-dessus les lèvres. Inspirez, redressez-vous un tout petit peu, soulevez la tête. Et expirez, peut-être vous replongez un tout petit peu plus loin, vous baissez votre bloc, vous descendez les coudes. Prenez cette dernière partie de la pause pour observer les sensations au niveau de votre corps. C'est pas toujours relaxant. Il y a des pauses même en yin qui vont faire augmenter la tension. Le cœur qui bat plus vite, la respiration qui est plus courte, le corps qui est chaud. C'est à observer, puis on peut toujours ralentir ces sensations-là en ralentissant l'expiration ou en se donnant un petit break dans la pause. Peut-être on va moins loin. De vos mains qui pressent au sol, redressez-vous. So come up nice and slow. La tête en dernier. Cette fois-ci, vous allez croiser votre jambe droite devant la gauche. So just cross your right leg this time in front of your left. So you're in Sukhasana, but on the opposite side. Give yourself a breath or two. Maybe you feel a little bit taller now. Et on va aller tirer le côté gauche cette fois-ci. Donc, vous marchez la main droite à côté de la hanche droite, peut-être un petit peu plus loin. Soulevez le bras gauche, prenez une inspiration. Et expirez, laissez le bras gauche tomber vers la droite. C'est venir porter votre conscience vers l'arrière du corps. Sentez si le bas du dos est courbé ou ancré ou arqué, pardon. Essayez de trouver de la longueur. Try to always feel like a long line in your spine. Anything that feels crunched, you want to come out of it and try to find length. And then move into depth from there. And come up nice and slow. Just take a breath or two once you're up. And feel both sides of your body, even feel your back. And when I say that, it's literally just bring your awareness to that part of the body. And is it maybe a little bit lighter or a little bit longer? All right, last pose before we hit the ground. We're going to come into butterfly. So go ahead and bring your palms of the feet together, still sitting onto your blanket or your prop. Except for this butterfly, we're gonna knit our toes together, and that's gonna allow us to actually kind of relax the feet and the ankles. And how we're gonna do that is basically you're gonna take your toes. You can start with the right or left, but the right baby toe underneath, left baby toe on top. Start with the second last toe underneath and on top. Underneath and on top until you get to your big toe. And then it's like your toes are knitted together. And if you kind of relax your ankles and relax your knees, it's almost like you don't need any props because it's being held up on its own. And it's a beautiful way to also kind of keep everything in line. If it starts in line in the toes, then it stays in line all the way up the rest of your body. You can start up nice and tall. Take a breath in. And on your breath out, you can fold as much or as little as you want. And same thing here. You can take a few breaths just to kind of undulate your spine, move it up and down. And when you find that right place, think of relaxing your knees. Let them fall towards the ground. They may not move. Let them go. Same thing with your hips and back. Relax it. Let them go. This will be kind of our only forward fold because we're going to hit the ground afterwards. So if you want to let your head hang heavy, crown of the head towards the ground, that could feel really nice too. La couronne de la tête en direction du sol nous permet de vraiment réveiller, si on veut, le système nerveux parasympathique pour nous aider à relaxer. It's another great way of even just visualizing anything that causes tension, disruption, anxiety. It's just pouring out of your head. Let it all pour out of your head. Whatever you need is going to stay there. Whatever you don't, let it find its way out as you find this stillness and calmness in this pose. For your stillness and your calmness, I'm going to give you one more challenge. Once again, just follow your breath underneath your nose, above the upper lip. And training ourselves to be more present by following the breath like this. Avoiding distractions and simply repeating to yourself, watch your breath. Halfway there, so if you wish, you can inhale, press into your hands, find a little bit of length. And then on your exhale, maybe go a little bit deeper. And if you stay right where you are, that's perfect too. Where are you feeling this? Spend a little bit of time dans la dernière partie de votre pause de juste remarquer le corps, les endroits où vous sentez une sensation qui vous fait du bien. And slowly, once again, making your way up by using your hands to help you. Press into the ground, roll up. And then once you're up, do whatever you want with your legs. You can undo the feet, legs long, point, flex your toes, shake the legs out. Take a little bit of time here. And while you're doing so, before we hit the ground, you can start to roll up your blanket. So take it from the pad, open it up, start to make a cylinder. Once you have it, I'll meet you in a crocodile position. So just lying down on your belly, one hand on top of the other with your forehead resting down onto your palms. Onto your hands, excuse me. So take your time. One hand on top of the other, feet as wide as you need them to be. Let your head rest onto your hands. And let your whole body sink into the mat. Sink into the ground. On prend un instant ici pour laisser le sol faire tout le travail. Relâchez le corps. Even your back body, let that go. Feeling your belly press against the mat on your inhales. Reminding you just to watch it. All right, from here we're going to move into a really simple thigh stretch. It's your option. You can do this with your left arm bent and your head resting on your left hand. We're just going to bend the right leg and you're going to hold on to the foot or the ankle, maybe even just the part of your pant leg, and bring the ankle towards your bum for a nice thigh stretch. Same thing here with your pelvis, your lower back. You still want to have a nice long lower back. Sensation should be just in your right thigh. If it's not comfortable for you like this, maybe you want to come up on your elbow, but that's more of a back bend. Or you can take your rolled up blanket and just rest your head on your rolled up blanket. That could be really comfy. To keep this stretch alive, you just want to keep not pulling, but letting gravity bring your heel towards your right bum cheek. Let that right foot relax. Oftentimes we think that because of tight hips, we can't do certain movements. But tight hips often come from tight quads. So that's what you want to always kind of stretch or open up before you come into opening up the hips. Let that right quad fall into the mat. And breathe. You'll see the longer your lower back is, so the more you kind of roll your hips forward into the mat, a little bit more you'll feel the sensation in your right thigh. can let that right leg go. Nice and slow towards the ground. It'll probably feel a little bit longer than the left. Extend the right arm to the right. You can even look over, making sure your right elbow, is above, towards your shoulder, or maybe a little bit higher. Press those 5 fingers into the ground. Relax the elbow and turn your head so your right ear is on the ground, or maybe on your rolled up blanket. And your left hand in front of your body, elbow bent. Press into the left hand, press into the right hand, and roll your body on the right side. Keeping the right shoulder on the ground, right hands. I know I'm far away from the ground with my neck, so I like to rest my head on something like a blanket or a block. Option here to lift up the left leg and bend it, place it on me, right behind you. And just for the beginning of this pose, can you really focus on pressing index and thumb into the ground? And that line comes right up towards your heart. And just with that little movement, this pose, this movement, this stretch becomes a heart opener. Deep breaths once again. Now can you bring your weight and press your pinky finger and ring finger into the ground? Feeling a different area that's waking up. If your left leg went anywhere, go ahead and just start by bringing it back on top of your right leg. And slowly bring yourself back so that you're on your belly. You can rest your head onto your hands or simply on your back blanket, arms behind you. Take a little bit of time here. Let the shoulders fall towards the ground. And follow a few of your breaths here. And we'll repeat the same thing on the other side. Donc cette fois-ci, vous enracinez votre côté droit. Vous pouvez plier la jambe gauche, attraper l'extérieur, l'intérieur du pied, de la cheville, peut-être même juste le bas du pantalon, ce qui est accessible. Vous commencez à ramener le talon gauche vers le fessier gauche. Puis retrouver une colonne longue, le coccyx qui pointe vers les orteils, la couronne qui s'allonge. Puis on sent toujours la différence quand on fait un étirement, une pause avec un dos qui est un peu croche ou arrondi ou arqué. C'est jamais la même sensation que quand on le fait avec un dos long. Donc, prenez le temps. Et à l'aide de la gravité, pas trop de force dans vos bras. Laissez le talon tomber vers le fessier. Relâchez le pied, laissez-le tomber vers le sol, tout doucement. Puis allongez le bras gauche vers la gauche, le coude au niveau de l'épaule, peut-être un peu plus haut. Ramenez l'oreille gauche sur le tapis ou peut-être sur votre couverture roulée. La main droite devant le corps. Pressez les 5 doigts de la main gauche au sol. Tout doucement, roulez sur le côté gauche pour vous retrouver sur la hanche gauche. Ici, ça se peut que ça soit pareil, différent. Prenez un peu de temps au début de la pause pour vous ajuster. Si vous voulez, vous pouvez soulever la jambe droite, la plier, puis déposer le pied à l'arrière. On va faire la même chose ici. On va commencer en pressant l'index et le pouce au sol. Respirez tranquillement, profondément. L'épaule va s'ouvrir naturellement. Maintenant, on est pressé le petit doigt en avant-dernier au sol. Vous avez la jambe droite à l'arrière. Ramenez la jambe droite par-dessus la gauche. La main droite devant la poitrine. Puis prenez votre temps, roulez sur le ventre. Le front au sol ou sur vos mains ou sur votre couverture roulée. Give yourself a little moment here. Feel your shoulders and chest. Keeping your transition, your movements as chill and as slow as your yin practice. Slowly make your way onto your back and have your blanket not too far. We'll need it in a little bit. And once you're on your back, push into your head, readjust your shoulders, push into your feet, readjust your hips. The feet bent, the legs bent, and the feet on the floor. Now let your whole back fall into the mat. It's always nice to take these little brief moments before we start a pose or we start a sequence to just let all the ground, do all the work. Let go. Do a few exhales out of the mouth to help us with this. Take a nice, beautiful inhale through the nose. Fill up your belly, your ribs, and your chest. Open your mouth, stick your tongue out, and let it go. Let's do that again. Full inhale, inspirez, remplissez tout le corps, des orteils jusqu'à la gorge. Ouvrez grande la bouche, sortez la langue, puis expirez. Last one, just like that. Full inhale, breathe it all in. Open your mouth, stick out your tongue, and let go of what you don't need. Follow your breath in and out of the nose, above the nostrils, underneath the nostrils, above the lips. Open your arms up into a T or cactus stem if you don't have a lot of room. Palms up. Let's cross our right leg over our left.
Easy cross, let your right foot hang. Press into your left foot, lift the hips up. And bring your hips over onto the right side of your mat, hips back down. Let your knees fall towards the left. Now there's two options here. You can have your knees on the ground and your right shoulder lifted, or both shoulders on the ground and your knees lifted from the ground. I personally like the second option, but you do whatever is good for you. Press into the back of your head to scoot your right shoulder blade and shoulder towards the center of your mat, trying to help you find some length. Let's try to avoid some back bends. Let your back ribs sink into the mat. And just for this pose, let's bring our breath deep into the belly, underneath the belly button. Make some space there. An option to complete the twist, you can look over your right shoulder if that doesn't hurt your neck. Just try to kind of remind yourself of those 3 little steps to let your body, bones, tissues melt into it. To follow your breath for a little bit, and then to start to feel the sensation. It's usually after about 2 minutes, the body starts to kind of talk to you. This last part of the pose, go ahead and just describe to yourself what you're feeling where. It can seem like kind of a lot of work or out of the ordinary, but what you're doing is kind of training yourself to be present. Once again, that's all we're doing, just training ourselves to be present. And when we're present in our practice, that kind of trickles into our day-to-day life. We're able to be present in all situations, some that are chill and fun, others that are a little bit harder. Presence is key. You don't let the mind wander. Those weird anxiety feelings don't come up. If you're looking to the right, bring your head to center. Take a few breaths right here. Bring your knees to center. Unhook your legs. Bring your whole body back to neutral. Feet on the floor, knees bent. Let's take a few breaths. Another side. Take an exhale out of the mouth if you need it here. It could be a nice way to start your next twist. And when you're ready, move yourself into the next side. Vous allez croiser la jambe gauche, cette fois-ci par-dessus la droite.
Presser dans le pied droit pour soulever les hanches, puis les ramener vers le côté gauche du tapis. Déposez-les. Laissez les genoux tomber vers la droite. Pressez l'arrière de la tête au sol pour vous aider à ramener l'épaule, l'omoplate gauche vers le centre, vers le sol. Puis relaxez maintenant l'arrière de la poitrine, l'arrière des côtes, vers le sol. Si c'est confortable, vous pouvez regarder par-dessus l'épaule gauche cette fois-ci. Puis ramenez la respiration dans le bas du ventre, en dessous du nombril. De penser au niveau du visage, de la mâchoire, la langue. Relaxez ces parties-là du corps aussi. Vous regardez vers la gauche, ramenez votre regard vers le haut. Puis ramenez les genoux vers le centre. Start to come out of your twist. Ramenez le corps au neutre. Body back to neutral. Take a few breaths. One side, and we always want to finish in a kind of symmetry, so we'll finish in a fish back bend, and this is where you're going to need your blanket. So to not disrupt your nervous system too much, roll over onto your right side of the body in a fetal position. Keep your chin into your chest and your head heavy, and just press yourself up so you can set up for your pose. Move slow, be mindful. You're gonna basically take your tube, your rolled up blanket that you made, and we're gonna come lie down on it with our shoulder blades, shoulders off of the rolled up blanket. So it's a great little way to come into fish. So mindfully, once again, bring yourself into the pose. Let's keep the knees bent just to start. And then I'll give you the option of choosing. Bring your shoulder blades onto the blanket. And you can start by cactusing your arms, shoulders off, back of the head on the ground. If the ground feels too far away, then you can just bring both one hand on top of the other underneath your head, kind of like sit up arms. This is also a really good way to give yourself a deeper stretch. For the legs, I'm giving you the option. You can be in constructive rest. Donc, le repos constructif, les pieds aussi larges que le tapis, les genoux un vers l'autre. Maybe you're good with your knees bent, or maybe you want your legs long. I'll let you choose, and when you find your comfort in your legs, begin to really release your back into the blanket. If your head is in your hands, or if it's on the ground, release the back of the head. Even if it's just with your mind that you kind of let go even more, think of it. It's going to help your muscles and tissues and your bones settle down. And this is our last pose, so let's do a little bit of apanasa meditation. Follow your breath underneath your nostrils, above your lips. Start to notice those sensations, like where you're feeling that breaking open in your chest or shoulders. Une position on fait vraiment l'opposé tout le temps. On est tout le temps un peu arrondi ou assis ou sur l'ordi ou nos téléphones. C'est complètement normal. Donc la sensation peut être assez intense ici. Observe-la. Remarque-la. You. Même remarquer la libération, comment ça fait du bien d'ouvrir le devant du corps, d'ouvrir la poitrine, plexus solaire, même le ventre. Want to stay longer, you can stay longer, but when you're ready, just roll over to one side, push the blanket out of the way, and then come back down. Prepare for your Shavasana. Feet as wide as your mat, arms by your side. Adjust your hips and shoulders and melt down. Relax relaxing every single part of your body, including your jaw and tongue and face. Laissez aller le contrôle de votre souffle ou l'observation. Ce n'est plus nécessaire. The idea of creating space in our body, of creating elongation, space in the connective tissues, space in our muscles, space between the bones, rids us not only of physical tension, but also of emotional and mental. So use this beautiful moment in Shavasana to just enjoy that release, that bliss, that little bit of nirvana-like feeling. Relax. Just relax. Where I'll leave you in this final pose. Please take an extra 3, 4, 5 minutes if you can, just to let you settle and feel refreshed. When you're ready to come out, take a fetal position and a seated meditation before you go on with your pune. Je vous remercie d'avoir été là. Passez une belle semaine. Namaste.